There's a difference between persistent and consistent. Think of it like this. Like when you're outside, you got a gnat, you can't seem to get rid of it. That's a persistent gnat. Consistent, on the other hand, is more like a rooster on a farm at sunrise. They are going to crow every single day, whether you're there or not. They are consistent. And when I looked up these definitions in the dictionary, what I found was that persistent meant lasting or enduring tenaciously. Consistent, on the other hand, was doing the same thing over time. Now, why is this so important in leadership? Because the very best leaders are consistent leaders. Their people know what they're going to get every single day. So then the question becomes, how do you become more of a consistent leader? Because it's so important. There's 3 things that you can do. The first thing is to define standards. Now, many leaders, you might have defined standards. I'm going to review them. A standard is simply defining what good looks like. And they come in 3 forms. They can be policies, they can be procedures, or they can be values. The key here is that you have defined what good looks like for your team. One of the biggest errors that I see every single day is that leaders don't do this. They think their team knows what the standards are, but in fact they don't. So the first thing you got to do to be more a consistent leader is to define standards. The second thing that you have to do to be a more consistent leader is to inspect. What this means is that you have to then inspect those standards that have been defined. There's a lot of those. Every leader could have different standards. The key is that your people know that you are going to inspect them over time consistently. And lastly, and maybe the most important, is number 3, and that is to hold your team accountable to those standards. And the biggest mistake we see made here almost all the time is that leaders treat people differently. It's one of the biggest errors a leader can make, because nobody on a team likes to feel like there's a favorite or that there's someone that gets special treatment because of who they are. It's your job to hold everyone accountable to those standards consistently. So the next time you think about whether you're a consistent leader or you're a persistent leader, I want you to think of these 3 things. And I want you to be more of a consistent leader for your people.